This twist in episode 9 of Soul Leveling absolutely blew my mind. I said it last week, the death flags on these two were just insane. You can't show a man's family and guilt and regret and everything else that's going on and not expect them to probably die, especially when you have 3 prisoners who gave you very bad vibes, like, oh, they're gonna lower their sentence, they're gonna get out in the world soon. Like, they did not seem like good people. The system makes sense, throwing dangerous people into a dungeon to clear it, and, giving them the incentive to lower their time. It makes sense, but as we could see with the backstory of that father begging and pleading to kill those scumbags, because in a couple of years, them being on the streets is absolutely heartbreaking. Like, they would just do it again. It's guaranteed. Whether it's driving people to off themselves because of just torment, hurting them for fun, or, predatory vibes. Like, they kind of felt like they could have been any of that, and it's understandable why a father would break like that. I don't blame him at all. The thing that really shook me was who actually turned out to commit those death flags. I thought this jailer, this guard, who turned out to be the executioner, I was rooting for him. I really was. I was like, this is actually a really interesting plotline. I'm really excited to see future episodes and arcs where maybe more of this could happen, or just learning about him, because the idea of taking a payday to help a grieving father, a husband, it could be a brother, a sister, it doesn't matter. Like, you understand why you would take that up, because yeah, in 2 years, those types of people, they're not better. Like, look at the end of last episode. They had bad vibes. And not only does he kill them, he then starts killing. I'm like, it was never the prisoners. It was this man all along. And we get one. We don't even need to see the boss room. The boss room was literally irrelevant. The real fight was between him and Jin-Woo. And I'm like, best freaking episode. Full live reaction over on my Patreon. If you want to see my full uncut thoughts and hypes as we watch this episode or any of those solo leveling episodes, it's over there if you're interested. Like, this show has done such a good job. Like, I am loving the characterization. I'm loving the world building. I'm loving this show top to bottom. It is so good. When that OST starts popping off, you get chills up your spine. You get goosebumps because of the atmosphere. But it's like, I really thought he was exposed. I thought there was no way you could keep this a secret. Because, initially it just feels like, okay, even though these two are very thankful because they recognize, like, this was a guy who was going to murder us, you're actually, the second awakening, that's incredible, like, we're very happy, but how do you keep that a secret? And the idea of my boy saying, it was me, it's like, well, how would a C rank beat a B rank? Well, I had help with a healer. Kind of makes sense. Granted, if Jin-Woo continues to pop up in all these weird situations, eventually he won't be able to keep it a secret forever. But man, I thought he was exposed for sure, and this life that he was trying to present, it was going up in flames. But man, like, just the reveal of what they did was so well done, because I really, like, even in hindsight, I don't see it coming. There's this point where there's 3 tunnels. Our boy picks the boss room. The other takes the right tunnel, which with the guards, and then the remainder go in the middle. I was like, he gives a side eye, like he recognized, like, oh, he picked the boss room. I thought we were going the direction of initially, like, oh, he recognizes our boy is built different, and he's actually very interested to learn more about him. I was like, that's going to be interesting. And then you get the whole reveal of the father, like, begging and pleading, hey, here's all this money. Kill them. Don't let them come out. What happens in the dungeon stays in the dungeon. I'm like, oh, I can agree to this. Many people will say, no, you can't stoop to their level, or no, you can't take a life. There's some people who just don't deserve their freedom, and I really feel like they were being presented like that. And honestly, it could have provided for some really interesting arcs. But the fact that not only did he so easily kill them, and he even was like living up to the promise to make them suffer, the bystanders, man, it's like, oh no. I was really hoping. I was like, even if someone abandoned you in the first couple of episodes and left our main character for dead and has clearly that guilt, he didn't deserve that, man. Like, I think this is where, like, showing the family comes in very clutch. It's not just about giving you an obvious death flag for him. It's about showing that good people can make bad decisions in the face of death. And most of us, as much as many commenters when watching a show like this would say, would be like, I would never do what he did. I would never leave someone for dead. Yes, you would. There is a reason why very select few individuals will get involved in things that put their life in danger to help other people for a job, because it's scary and most of us can't handle it. Throw yourself into a situation like the first couple of episodes, most people run for their life and abandon people. We are human. And while it doesn't excuse it, it does explain that behavior. And I think that's why, you know, him just freaking out being like, no, you can't die. I need someone to blame for all that bullshit. And his apology before, we should be thankful that he got the apology out, but like, that stings. But man, that fight between them, at first it was even. Like, they were pretty much saying they had similar builds. I thought once the poison got into his system, it was game over. We were set. It was game, set, match. But the idea that as soon as the menu pops up, because he had such bloodlust, kill. Because we know, right? If the menu is saying 0 out of 1 targets or 0 out of 3 targets, all those targets need to be killed, else he'll get a penalty, right? And the fact that it just continues to go crazier and crazier, because they don't see the menu system and stuff, right? So all they're seeing is like, he's healing magic, or he's, you know, doing all the, it almost looks like, at least my interpretation, from their point of view, he's every type of build. A mage, a fighter, this, that, and the third. He is somehow everything all in one, and he's incomprehensible. And the idea of how he ends up killing this man being like, I just enjoy it. I don't care about the money. The fact that he stood in this position for so long, for peanuts, as he says, for a payday, despite having these offers that would have paid him way better, he likes to kill. That's simply him. And what's interesting about our MC is the fact that he recognizes something inside him is kind of fading away. And to me, that feels like his humanity. Because, as he says in this episode, another piece of him was gone and he just had no feelings about what he had to do. Of course, he needed to kill this man, 100%, even ignoring the menu. Like, there's a reason why the other two were, like, thankful, like, not thinking, oh, he's a scumbag. Like, no, this dude was he would have killed us all. Like, this had to happen. But it does feel like the more the system holds him almost like a puppeteer with some strings attached to his limbs, making him dance, he's losing who he once was. And sure, maybe he'll evolve into a better version, a stronger version, and an even crazier version. But at the end of the day, he's already, it's like over the span of such a short amount of time, he's went from barely able to survive a dungeon to being able to kill people without remorse. That is a scary thing for even him to realize, but there's not much he can do other than accept it. And who knows what type of person he'll be, you know, 100 episodes from this point, right? Like, he's evolving so fast, and he can recognize that that's actually a pretty frightening process. I mean, I said it last week, of course, there was going to be people who would prove my point about, oh, we don't like characterization, we want just the action. And goddamn, did those comments deliver. But I love seeing the source readers who will say, actually, you know, usually in the manhwa, we only really get to see other characters when our MCs focus on them, so it feels like they don't exist outside of it. So having an anime actually let them feel like people. Our girl curled up on the bed feeling like we understand her trauma, you know, seeing the families and stuff, everything like that. You actually feel like there are people supporting this power fantasy show, so it doesn't just feel like monkey brain swinging sword. Like, there's a lot of complexities at play here, and this was a perfect episode. The animation, the music, the emotion. The best part to me wasn't even that fight. It was the realization of what this man was doing with the prisoners and these situations all along. But thoughts down below yourself. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell. And like I mentioned, we have a full live reaction over on my Patreon. Hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Tobias Reinhold, Jonas Welbing, James Usher, Flavordorks 414, Wen2X, and Drift. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.